Hello everyone, it's Jessica here with another layout for the Shimmerz Paints design team. You can use my name Jessica in the notes section of your order for a free gift. So I am prepping a sheet of colored textured cardstock here with some white gesso, and I'm just kind of smudging it on with my spatula tool here and just creating a nice surface to add some mixed media on here. So I also wanted to add some splattering here to the edges just to soften them up a little bit. So I'm just watering down a little bit of that gesso with my paintbrush, and I just flicked on some splatters. I've got a stamp set here from the Paige Evans Adventurous collection. This is a little signpost stamp, and I'm stamping it a couple times on just some white cardstock, and then I'm going to stamp it a couple more times on this stripy background paper with that same collection because I want to create a layered sign with the signs themselves as different colors. So I wanted to stamp the main one in white, and I'll cut that out as my base, and then I'm going to stamp little word phrases from the same stamp set on the little sign pieces, and then I will trim those out as well and then layer them on the actual signpost, if that makes sense. So here I'm just finishing up my little stamps on my signs themselves, and then I'll go ahead and just cut these all out just with using some smaller scissors. And I'm going to speed this up so you don't have to watch me cut out all of these, but I do just cut out one signpost in the white here, and then I cut out the little signs that I stamped as well. So now that that's all cut out, I'm just going to go ahead and use some of my shaker strips. These are the 3D foam shaker strips by Gina K, and I'm just going to layer up my little signpost just to pop them up and give them some dimension. I did use my black Intense Black ink pad. That one's by Honeybee Stamps. I'm really loving that ink pad. It seems to be working out really nicely for me. It creates a nice crisp stamp, and it also works well whenever I'm coloring in my stamps with my Copic markers. So I'm going to just clear this off a little bit, and I'm going to start on this mixed media portion. So it's pretty dry by this point, so I'm going to go ahead and get these little pots all prepped and ready to go. Most of them are ready to go already because I've either used them before or they're Shimmerz products, so you just kind of have to stir them up. I do like to add just a little bit of water to mine, and then I add a little water directly to my paper like you just saw me spritz on there. And this one right here that I'm using in that really bold yellow is called Bumbly B. It's a Shimmerz product, and it pretty much comes ready to go. All you have to do is just give it a little stir. So there's my baby girl coming in to help. She loves whenever I do mixed media layouts. She likes to play with all the little colors in my paintbrush as well. This one here that I'm using is my new favorite. I love this color. It's called Green Goddess. I actually just recently got this one and was excited to play with it. It is an Inklingz, so in order to activate it, you have to add water to that to soften it up because it does come hard inside that container, so you just add water to actually activate that. Little girl is switching up all my lids and placing them on different pots at this point, playing with my paintbrush, but she's okay. She loves to help mommy. So I'm going to add a little bit of this pink color now. This one is a Shimmerz in Pip Pip Cherry O, and I'm also going to be pulling in that dark blue that you see there beside it, which is called Anchor's Way. So I've got lots of colors here today. I've also pulled out an Inklingz in my favorite Minor 49er because here in a little bit, after this dries up some, I'm going to go ahead and use some splattering with that gold Minor 49er. It's just my favorite gold. I really love the way that it looks on layouts and with other colors, and I usually do that and splatter that on after it is pretty dry, I guess. So I'm just going to let this kind of dry up a little bit here. I'm going to add some white splatters using some white acrylic paint. I just love the effect that it gives. You can see where it kind of breaks up those colors and looks like it gives it some more dimension. And I just love the way that it breaks it up. So I love to add that. And I decided it was a little bit too dark blue for me. I really loved this green color in that Green Goddess. So I'm just adding a little bit more in on this layout. So I've just put some on a piece of packaging and kind of smushed it onto my layout, and then I'm just dabbing up the excess where it ran into the pink so I have more of that pop of pink. So I'm just going to do some more white splatters because I kind of diluted all of that whenever I added the green again, so I'm just adding the white back in for the marbling effect. and then doing a little bit more of the green again. So it's really all about adding layers whenever you're doing this type of mixed media. You can just kind of keep building it up on top of itself and get it to the way that you want it to look or the way that you like it. So I know, you know, sometimes people get frustrated when they're doing mixed media and they're not really loving it, but honestly, my answer is always to add more, because it seems like when I start adding more and just keep adding to the layers and adding more colors and kind of mixing them around, add some splatters, it really, really makes that mixed media pop and gives it a lot of dimension and it really makes it come to life. So here I'm just going to layer up my photo with some of these scraps that I have from the smaller paper pad from this collection. And I've also added a little bit of tissue paper in there as well. That's something I also really like to do with my photos. I just really love that little pop of that kind of translucent paper with the tissue paper. I just think it looks really pretty. So I've added that as well. And I'm going to add a couple more just using this small paper pad and the scraps that I have laying here that I've already kind of cut into with that signpost. So I'm just going to trim out around just using my scissors and just rough up all of these edges using my fingernails. I really like this dark blue paper. I wasn't quite sure if I was going to use it to map my photo at first because I wanted to use some of that to add some notches in my paper here in a bit and add a little bit more of this color. But I did actually end up pulling this in around my photo as well because it's just a really pretty paper. I love that pattern and I love the color of it in that dark blue with the little flowers. So I did decide to map my photo in that. And this one here, I'm actually just cutting down. I used a die, a little border scallop die from Hey Little Magpie, and I just trimmed it down to put at the very bottom of my photo, just for a little bit more texture. So I'm going to start layering this up. It's pretty dry at this point, so I'm going to pull out these alpha letters from this collection, and I am going to build quite a big title. I wanted to say Wonderlust because she's always exploring and playing whenever I am crafting. So this room that she's laying in is my craft room, but it's also a playroom too. So she loves to just explore and kind of entertain herself whenever she's down here with me. And I just really wanted it to say Wonderlust because she's always just exploring and finding new things to do and new ways to use toys down here. So I just thought it was super cute and I love that photo of her. I'm actually grabbing an acrylic little geotag by Colorcast Designs. I'm leaving the backing on it here, and I just wanted to layer it with this paper behind it, and I wanted that to poke through on that circle piece in the middle. So I'm just kind of backing it almost like a cut file. So that's pretty much what that's going to look like. I'm going to put that at the top of my title, and then I'm going to lay down these big letters. It's pretty dry, but I'm just kind of drying up any of those kind of pools that were sitting on the paper at this point. The gesso added to the paper really helps with the warping of your paper. It helps hold up to that heavy mixed media and all of those wet mediums. So that's why I always like to use some gesso on my papers whenever I'm working with these types of mixed media. I've got this little flower trim that I'm just cutting a couple of those off to add to the top of my photo. And then I'm pulling out the sticker sheet from this collection. I'm going to add a couple things here at the bottom of my photo just to give it some layers. I'll add this one up top. That one's probably going to move around a little bit. I think I ended up adding something at the top a little bit later, and I love these little sticker books, so I'm going to add a couple things from the sticker book as well and just kind of embellish this from this point on. So I'm going to add all of my alphas. I do end up using some Nouveau glue to reinforce the alpha letters because when you apply your sticky alphas to the mixed media, sometimes it doesn't want to stick down very well, so be sure to use some other type of glue to reinforce it. And my personal favorite is usually my Nouveau Deluxe adhesive, or I also like to use Thermoweb's Ultra Bond liquid adhesive, or their mixed media adhesive is also really good for that too. So I am going to just kind of lay these out for now. I'm also going to grab some thread and add in here in a couple little parts and add some flowers and some little bits. So I am going to pop some music in here while I finish embellishing this, and then I will pop in at the end and show you the finished layout. So here's the finished layout. I absolutely love how this one came together with all that beautiful mixed media in the background and my sweet little baby girl and how her photo just pops against all of that goodness. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to grab anything from the shop, I will link everything below for you. Thank you guys. Have a great day. Bye-bye.